Have you ever experienced missing somebody, but still being and going to the places where they once were? You know, it's strange when someone leaves your life, but the places that you shared together are still there. You can walk into the same building, do the same job, see the same corners, the same doors, the same structure, the same little places where those memories were shared, but something feels different because they are not there. I've been thinking about this quite a bit today. Sometimes you don't just miss the person, you miss the version of life that existed when they were around. You know, this ties into grief. This can tie into loss of any sort. You miss their presence, their face, their smile, the little routines, the random conversations, the cute moments, the happy moments, the sad moments, the moments that probably didn't seem massive at the time, but now those times are not there, they carry weight. And going back to the grief, this is part of grief. Not just grief when someone dies, but grief when a chapter in life changes. Grief when a new norm is something you're going to have to get used to. When a person moves on. When a connection ends. When life rearranges itself and you're left walking through the places that still remember them. But I also think there is a danger in thinking that missing someone means you're going backwards, because it doesn't. You can miss someone but still be moving forward, and you can care about someone and still respect the distance. You can feel sad and still show up to work, still train, still create, and keep building your life. Missing someone doesn't mean you've failed to move on, it just means something mattered at one point. You know, I've learned that sometimes the strongest thing isn't to pretend you don't feel anything, it's feeling it fully, accepting it for what it is, and still doing what needs to be done. Still going to work, still making this video, still training, still painting, you know, still being present as a dad, still trying to become better. If you're missing someone right now, I don't think you need to beat yourself up over it. Let it be there. Let it remind you you are simply human. Don't let it stop you from moving forward, because sometimes moving forward doesn't mean the feelings disappear. Sometimes it just means you carry it with a bit more strength. You can miss them and still keep building. Still keep building strength in your life. You know, sometimes I think you can be fine for a long time on your own. You get used to your own habits, your own routine, your own goings on, your own space, your own life, essentially. Then someone can come into your life and without even realizing it, they become part of your routine. You know, the messages, their voice, their smile, their presence, the little moments, and they start to occupy space in your life. And when they're gone, the loneliness can feel a little heavier, louder, sharper than it ever did before. And it's not because you are weak, but it's because you now remember what the connection felt like. But again, missing someone doesn't automatically mean you should chase them. You know, sometimes they might not be able to be chased. You know, depending on the severance of the connection. If you've lost somebody to ill health, or if somebody's moved to a different country, or for whatever reason the connection's unable to be maintained, then accepting it for what it is and continuing with your life, feeling it fully, is the path for the course. You know, it also doesn't mean the connection was perfect. It doesn't mean you should ignore the reasons why the connection might have been difficult. It just means something mattered. You know? You don't automatically need to fill the space which might be left from a disconnection, because you will adapt. Anyway, I think this is day 4 or 5 of uploading every day, and today's topic is a little bit more emotional than others, but it's important to talk about nonetheless. Anyway, that's that.